These pencil neck politicians are totally out of pocket.
When, frankly, the only thing they've made great again is Putin. They've made egg prices great.
Yep, as of course haters will hate, as Donald Trump looks like he just secured a deal with the Ukrainians. But will that peace deal last? As of course now there are a whole bunch of complicated geopolitical developments right now that do threaten this ceasefire that was just announced that has been agreed to in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of things to go over here. There's also a China, Iran, Russia military exercise happening around this key point in time. There's also gas energy resources cut off from Hungary. There's so many different things happening that I thought, you know what, I'm just going to dedicate this entire video describing and telling everyone what in the world is going on here, since of course we did get major news. This is a big step in what I believe to be the right direction. Now, will it be followed through? Well, there's a bunch of other things happening behind the scenes that kind of guarantee that from happening, as now Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day ceasefire, as Russia now is being sent over the deal, and they will be deciding if they will agree to this deal or not. As Donald Trump just invited Zelensky back to the White House after Ukraine agreed with this deal. Donald Trump also made another major move here that's going to bring the Russians to the table. But the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, just announced this from Saudi Arabia.
Today, we made an offer that the Ukrainians have accepted, which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's enduring and sustainable and accounts for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. I want to personally thank, we both want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty, for hosting us, for making this possible. They've been instrumental in this process, and we're very grateful to them for hosting us here today. And hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes to peace. The ball's now in their court. And but again, the president's objective here is, number one, above everything else, he wants the war to end. And I think today Ukraine has taken a concrete step in that regard. We hope the Russians will reciprocate.
This, as of course Donald Trump has previously described how the Russians have been very willing participants here, and the Ukrainians not so much, as there might be a kind of rebuttal, there might be continued negotiations, but for Donald Trump, the hardest part is done, according to his larger kind of geopolitical aspirations that he, of course, was publicly speaking about, as now the U.S. and Ukraine released a joint statement after these talks, with the United States announcing that they will immediately lift the pause on intelligence sharing and resume security assistance to Ukraine. And now that is big here. We'll tell you why in just a little bit, as Donald Trump just announced this, which probably is meant to give the Russians maximum pressure right now to say yes.
I'll talk to Vladimir Putin, yeah. I want to get, look, that's the other, it takes two to tango, as they say, right? So hopefully he'll also agree, and I really think that would be 75% of the way. The rest is getting it documented and, negotiating land positions, etc.
So you'll talk to him this week?
I think so, yeah.
Yep, and this is a big deal, because once Putin agrees to this ceasefire, as Donald Trump says, it's 75% of the deal, which means the war is ending. It is going to stop. This madness, this insanity finally is going to be put to an end, as Slavic young men's lives are finally going to be preserved. This is huge. As of course we told you, we foreshadowed that this was happening since last Friday. You watched the video we did last Friday. We're going to link it in the description. We told you, hey guys, peace is pretty much assured here. With the way that things are moving on the global kind of geopolitical chessboard, we were saying, okay, it's in a position. The final steps are being made here. Expect a ceasefire to be made here very soon. And that's exactly what we have right now, as Donald Trump got it done here. Zelensky released a statement himself saying now the onus is on Russia and whether they want to end the war or to continue it. This, as the Russians have been having a lot of military advantages in the Kursk Russian territory region, where they implemented new strategies, drone attacks, and now, according to some sources, have launched 3-ton bomb on a Ukrainian stronghold in the Kursk region. Now, how will the Russians respond here? I think they're going to respond quickly, but I think they are not going to be too happy about the United States immediately resuming the military aid. And I think this is a pressure tactic. I think this is meant to signal to the Russians, you guys better come. You guys better sign this, because guess what? We got the Ukrainians now have our full backing. They have our full support. They have our intelligence, which allows them to strike into Russia, see their troop movements in Russia, and allows them to have a larger kind of aggressive posture here out of all of this. But if you agree to the ceasefire, those weapons, that intelligence, won't be used against you. I think that's the larger gambit that's being made here. And, a lot of people always accuse Donald Trump of being a pro-Putin, a pro-Russian asset. This definitely doesn't signal that. This definitely doesn't signal his weakness. It signals strength here, and it signals a larger kind of dangerous gambit that all of us are involved in, that clearly he wants to move the clock towards peace. He wants to, of course, stop this madness, stop this insanity, stop this lunacy, and a lot of things that he is doing is actually working towards that. And that's something that we've been talking about for a very long time, even though we got heavily criticized for it. There were some people within our audience that were like, no way, he's not going to do this. He's going to lie. And again, it hasn't been perfect. We've been critical of some things. I think he's definitely making a big mistake going after Thomas Massie earlier today. But again, this is what's great about this administration. They actually listen to the criticisms that the general public issues to them, as of course our voice matters more than ever. And that's why I really enjoy hanging out, talking with you guys, our members that are a part of this independent media organization. Sign up right now, be a part of it by clicking the link down in the description below. You click it right now, you go to the website, and signing up, it's quick, it's easy, it's simple. You could sign up for less than 20 cents a day, less than one Starbucks order for one particular day, and you get 13 plus years of exclusive behind-the-scenes content and content centered towards helping you become the best, strongest version of yourself. We also have 3 master classes that will teach you incredible skills. And we're doing a meetup this Sunday, March 16th in Southern Florida, where we are going to be doing a range day with a really cool, awesome company that I am going to be taking a training with. We all will be taking a really important self-defense training. And to get more information about that, sign up to lukeunfiltered.com and come join in on these larger gatherings that I really do enjoy doing. I like meeting up with a lot of you people, and it's been a lot of fun to do so. As of course, I think this news here will soon be met with the Russians saying, yes, we will agree to the ceasefire as long as this war ends here. Now, with all of this developing, we also have to understand that there's a lot that still threatens this peace deal, as there are news reports from the Telegraph of guerrilla, rogue Ukrainian military forces. Some of them are mercenary connected. Some of them are connected to territories of Ukraine that still might be trying to continue this war and to try to fight it, even if there's a larger peace deal that is made here. Now, will we see other sabotage, guerrilla warfare tactics implemented here when the war's over? I think that would be absolutely stupid. That would be insane to leverage this over personal gripes, as of course this war has taken way too many lives. It needs to end. We need to get an official tally to understand the larger consequences of these bigger actions here, as currently the Russians are having a larger military advantage against the Ukrainians. That ends right now, creating more of a bigger stalemate. This insanity needs to end, as a Ukrainian drone, by the way, just went after energy infrastructure that was going to Hungary, as we have crude shipments suspended after a Ukrainian drone attack suspended gas from Russia reaching Hungary, according to Hungarian government officials. So another major kind of event here, as the Russians, the Chinese, and the Iranians soon will be conducting a military exercise, which Donald Trump announced that he is not really worried about. But this joint military exercise does highlight the larger kind of East versus West proxy conflict that all of us have been involved in for far too long. As Donald Trump announced that, quote, "We are stronger than all of them." But it still would be a pretty huge fight if that ever would break down with the negotiations, the peace talks. If there ever was a breakdown of communications, and the war would, of course, ratchet up it would not look good. Now, a part of this peace deal that we could probably expect here to be announced will be some kind of larger decision on Iran. We were told by Donald Trump there's going to be some major news regarding Iran coming up soon regarding the United States. What deal that Russia cut with one of its close allies, Iran, that has been providing them a lot of very important drone infrastructure and technology that they have used against the Ukrainians? Well, it's going to be interesting to see how all of this kind of plays out here as Iran's and Russia's ties are strengthened as the United States just sold Saudi Arabia some high-end drone tech themselves. And Iran and Saudi Arabia are at odds with each other. How will they be involved here? What will else be happening behind the scenes? What will else be negotiated and dealt with here? Well, who knows? But it definitely does seem like the Russians, the Chinese, and the Iranians are kind of saber-rattling here. Will that amount to anything? Well, it looks like Donald Trump is unfazed by it, as there's now talks of an Iran nuclear deal 2.0 that could have been involved in this entire saga and deal as a bargaining chip. Again, we're looking at this geopolitical development as a grand chessboard. Lots of deals are being made. Lots of different players are involved here. It's a far more sophisticated and complicated game than we could even imagine, as the North Koreans also are very closely tied in with the Russians as well. And Donald Trump trying to achieve peace with the North Koreans also would be something that I think he tried to achieve his first time around, even though John Bolton destroyed that deal. But I think Donald Trump would be a man to see this opportunity, a man who would try to work out a deal with all of these countries in order to try to bring us towards bigger peace here. I think that's the larger objective, because if you're a president, there's no bigger kind of moniker, there's no bigger kind of test of leadership than literally being a peacemaker, ending a war, ending a conflict that has been brewing since 2006 that the U.S. has been meddling in. Ending this larger kind of insanity would be a big marker on Trump's legacy. And I think that's what he's trying to achieve, because it's the common sense thing to try to achieve. Otherwise, we're literally just bringing us together closer on the brink of global catastrophic destruction, as we also have literal freaking satellite space weapons. And the Russians have demonstrated their use of some of their space weapons in Ukraine, by the way, highlighting the amount of damage and the precision strikes that they could make, warning, of course, Europe after they tried to escalate this conflict. And again, the Europeans tried to escalate it. They failed very epically. Now, the situation is in the hands of the Russians. What will they decide? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. But I think they're going to come to the negotiation table and they're going to say, okay, maybe we could edit this out, but let's just sign this deal. Let's just sign this ceasefire, and then let's negotiate the land here, the territory, and how to move forward in a very good, constructive way here. Today's a good day. We told you this day was coming. It's here. Let's pray for peace. Let's pray for an end for this conflict. Let's pray for a resolution that guarantees safety for a long time. That is something that I think is worth celebrating. And if you agree, share this video with your friends and family members. Sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com, and I will see you there this Thursday. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. Subscribe, click the notification button, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on YouTube.com/WeAreChange.